Hello everyone, Chris here, the Zelda Collector, and in this video we're going to talk about 9 upcoming Zelda games. Okay, so E3 is just around the corner and we do know that Nintendo have a direct planned on Tuesday the 11th of June at 5 PM. So I thought I would scour the internet, everything I've heard so far, any rumours, stuff like that, and try and consolidate them all together and take a look and to see what games we have coming out. I mean, we do know of 2 definites, but it would be good if we heard some more news from Nintendo about any more Zelda games that's going to get released. So like you're saying, I've got everything together and I think I've got about 9 potential Zelda games. It sounds like a lot, but when we break them down, they are all plausible. I mean, we have 2 confirmed games by Nintendo with trailers. We have 1 confirmed as being made. We have another one hinted at by Nintendo. We have 1 leaked by a shop. We have 2 rumoured on Twitter. We have 1 reported by a news site, and we have 1 teased by a game developer. Now that all adds up to 9 games. Like I said, I'm going to lay all that out now. I'm going to break it all down and just see what we know about each game. Okay, so game number 1, that is Link's Awakening. Now we know this is definitely confirmed. It's coming out this year. We have all seen the trailers for this. I'm super excited for this game. It's had a complete overhaul. It's got like Twilight graphics. It's got like a tilt shift camera angle. We've all seen a trailer for this. We're all excited for this game. But that's all we know. We've only had 1 trailer and coming 2019. So for E3 I would like to see just maybe some more, another trailer, maybe some gameplay up in the treehouse, and just a release date, and that would be perfect for E3 for me. Just give us a release date for the game and a little bit more gameplay. And game number 2 is Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring the Legend of Zelda. Yes, that mouthful. Now again, this is the same as Link's Awakening. We've had a trailer for this. We know it's getting released this year, and again, this is another game I'm super excited for. It just looks really fun. It's like a rhythm-based game. It's a crossover between Legend of Zelda and Crypt of Necrodancer. I think it'll be like it's randomly generated dungeons, stuff like that, and it'll have 25 remixes of Legend of Zelda songs. Now, I say I've never played the original game, but I have been like probably most other people who have never played the original game. I've went and looked at trailers of it and reviews of the game. And to be fair, that's all we need to know, because that's all this game is. It was originally meant to be DLC for the original game, but then I think the indie development, Brace Yourself Games they're called, they got in talks with Nintendo and they said, why don't you make your own full game? So I don't think there's going to be no surprises for this. So we don't really need much more information on this game. So for me, the perfect outcome would be during a direct, just for him to say the game is available now. Maybe show a little bit more gameplay during a direct and to say it's available for download. Go and play it. Because the thing is, in between me writing this and me filming this, there has been some change of dates. I mean, people thought it was going to get released on the 30th. It originally had the 31st of May, but that's normally a placeholder. Then it got moved to the 30th, so everyone thought it was going to be released on the 30th, which it hasn't, which is today as of filming. But that's been changed to June now. I think the 20th of June the date's been moved to. So it's either thrown everyone off scent, or it is. So I think we kind of have 20th of June release date, or, which I'm hoping, it's going to be during the E3 Direct. And if that happens, I will be streaming it straight away. So if you want to come and watch me play that, stick around and we'll hopefully just enjoy that game, because it looks like it's going to be fantastic. Okay, now game number 3 is the big one. This is Breath of the Wild 2, or just the next main big Zelda home console game, which is what everyone will be wanting. Now we do know that Nintendo are working on this. They tell us as soon as they finish Breath of the Wild that they're working on the next game. And we do know that Nintendo have put job listings out in the past for people to come and work on dungeon design and overworld map design and stuff like that. So we do know it is actually getting made. Now normally they take between 4 to 6 years to make a mainline Zelda game, with Majora's Mask being the exception, which took 2. But again, that's because it reused Ocarina of Time's game engine and assets and stuff like that. So if we are to believe that what people think they're going to do, if they're going to reuse Breath of the Wild's game engine and just going to tweak the engine a little bit, polish it up here and there and give a new storyline, next year could be plausible. It could be 3 years for the next game to come out. Now, could you imagine that 2020 with the 20th Zelda game being released in that year? That would be, well, that's marketing right there, isn't it? That would be fantastic. And the thing is, if we are to believe that we are going to get a new Zelda game next year, it wouldn't go out the realm of possibilities just to get a hint at E3. I mean, could you imagine, just as the very end of the direct, it all goes quiet, and you hear Zelda's voice saying it's time to rebuild Hyrule, and then you just get a pan shot of Link and Zelda overlooking a rebuilt Hyrule castle. But in all reality, I don't think that's what's going to happen. Nintendo have never been ones just to rush a game out. I think I read somewhere that Majora's Mask, the only reason that was out in 2 years is because it was some sort of bet that couldn't be done. So yeah, I think the best we're going to be hoping for the next big Zelda is probably 2021 at the earliest. If they get ambitious, it could be pushed back to 2022, because even if they are going to use the same game engine, I think they'll completely overhaul it, you know what I mean? I think they'll probably want to change the whole game style. They'll probably want to change the gimmick that they kind of use. You know, Nintendo like to give each game its own little soul and identity and stuff like that. So even if they are using the same game engine mechanics, I think they'll still want to change a whole lot about the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't come out like 2022 even, and maybe just get a bit of a smaller game in between. So game number 20 might just be a smaller handheld, handheld as we say nowadays because we have Switch, which is a smaller game in the series. Right, the next game is Skyward Sword HD. Now this one is actually hinted at by Aonuma himself back in November 2018. During a concert in Japan, he walked out on stage and he practically said, "I know what you're waiting for, Skyward Sword on Switch, right?" And then that was it, Twitter went crazy. And I mean, this game has been rumoured since the Switch got released. I think everyone has been wanting this. So if they do this, I think it'll be more for fan service than anything else. Like you're saying, so I don't know if they would do a straight port or whether they would try and like rebuild it so you get rid of the motion controls and try and do it with a controller. Because I think that's what held that game back. I think a lot of people didn't play it because of the motion controls. So maybe if they took this game again and tried to build it from the ground up for the Switch so you could use it with a controller, that would maybe really push the game. I don't know, like you said, I've never played it myself. It's a game I really want to play, but like you're saying, I think I got motion control fatigue. When I had the Wii, I played Twilight Princess, and then after that I kind of took a break from it and said jump straight to the next one with the motion controls, and I just never got back to it. And if it was on the controller instead of motion controls, I'd probably go straight on it and I would probably give it a go. But I will get around to it one day. But yeah, I say I don't know if we will hear anything at E3 or not about that. It would be cool if we did. Or even just a logo, that would be cool, wouldn't it? If you were doing something like that, just end it and just give us a Skyward Sword logo, just a bit of a teaser, just so we know they're working on it. Right, now game number 5 is A Link to the Past on Switch. Now this is the one I am most excited about. As any of my regular viewers know, I absolutely love this game, and just any talk of any sort of remake or port or anything about this game just gets me so excited. Now this news was leaked on Best Buy, the shop. It was an employee found a listing for the game on their system, and then that got leaked onto Twitter by Wario64, who is a well-known person on Twitter for leaking this sort of stuff, and his info is mostly accurate, so it can kind of be trusted. A lot of people say it was maybe a mistake, it was maybe a Link's Awakening on the system, but Link's Awakening does have its own listen on the system, so there is 2 separate games on there, so it's no mistake, but it's just kind of what is it doing there. And what does this mean? Does it mean that Link to the Past is going to get the Link's Awakening treatment and get like an upgrade, maybe get the Twilight graphics and the tilt shift graphics? It would be good, but the thing is, with it being they are both shortish games, so I mean, would you think they'd be bundled together? And if they were bundled together, why would they have separate listings? So who knows? But it would make sense for doing them both at the same time, because Link's Awakening is a direct sequel to A Link to the Past. It's the same Link. At the end of A Link to the Past, he goes off on a journey on his boat, and then that's how Link's Awakening starts. So we'll see where they go with it. All I know is it would be nice if we did get some sort of remake, because I know me and probably a lot of other fans out there have been wanting something since the first time we seen that screenshot when they made A Link Between Worlds, and we thought that that was going to be a remake, and we were all super excited, and it just turned out to be another game. And A Link Between Worlds was fantastic, but when I got my hopes up thinking it was a remake, I was a little bit gutted when I found out it wasn't. And a funny little fact about Link Between Worlds, everyone thought that that game started out as a remake of Link to the Past, and then it got made into its own game, but it was never that. It was originally going to be a sequel to the DS games with Cartoon Link, and it was like an over-the-shoulder 3D type view. But when you went from the transition from normal Link into the wall, it wasn't prominent enough, so they decided to make it 2D, 2.5D, and then the transition was more prominent. And then from that point they decided to just use the assets of A Link to the Past, just enough to start from scratch, and then it got turned into a sequel to A Link to the Past. So fun little fact there. So game number 6 and 7 are Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Now these two games are complete rumours. They were tweeted about in April by a guy called Stealth on Twitter, who again is a well-known guy for doing stuff like this. It was actually the same time as A Link to the Past on Best Buy leak that he'd come out, and he said that he didn't know what that was about, A Link to the Past, but his sources had told him that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were going to get a release on the eShop. And he says it was a very reliable source because he'd already told about 15 games already that's already come out, way earlier than they actually come out, so you kind of trust this person. But again, he did also end the tweet with, it is at the end of the day a rumour, so take it with a pinch of salt and all that. But apparently he does think it's a reliable source. And the thing is, this does kind of make sense. Even before Stealth tweeted that, everyone was talking about these games getting released. They did all the work already and they ported them over to the Wii U with the HD versions, and we do know that Nintendo is trying to forget about the Wii U. It's just trying to push under that rug there and forget all about it, and they're trying to move all their games from the Wii U over to the Switch, especially all the games they did a lot of work on that never got the spotlight that they should have deserved. So I think they're trying to push everything over. But like you're saying, these are already ported for the Wii, so technically we'll be getting a port of a port. So I don't know if they'd really release these as physical games, so it would make sense just to have a digital download of these games. So like you're saying, that this is the one that's the most complete rumour with nothing really to back it up, but it is really plausible. Like you're saying, and it would make sense being a shop. Like you're saying, if they did physical, my only problem with this is Twilight Princess has been released on every home console since the GameCube. So if this gets a physical release on the Switch, that's like 4 consoles in a row getting released on, and I think that's just getting a bit much in for Nintendo. So an eShop download would be suitable, I think. So our next game is a mobile Zelda game. Now this story would like to think there was something behind it, as it was reported by the Wall Street Journal, but this was actually way back in 2017, and all they really said was that Nintendo were reportedly working on a Zelda mobile game. Now we haven't heard much more since then about the Zelda mobile game, but we do know that Nintendo really are pushing them at the moment. They are really trying to get in the mobile market, and they've already had some big games out there. I mean, they've had Super Mario Run, they've had Fire Emblem out, they've had Animal Crossing out, and then this year they are going to be releasing Mario Kart Tour and Dr. Mario World. So it would make sense to try and push the Zelda franchise over onto the mobile market and all, try and get all the big names out there, and just try and help push the mobile market. And there have been a lot of people talking about this, about they would like it, what they would want on it and stuff like that. So if they do it, I think it could be quite exciting. The only problem is, I mean, how would we see Zelda translate over to mobile gaming? I mean, could it be so much like a 2D games and be like a 2D dungeon puzzle game, you know what I mean? Maybe if you had like a top-down view and you tried to solve puzzles, but it was like in a dungeon format, like Link to the Past or something like that, that could be quite fun. Or maybe just some mini games, like you would get out the games, like the mail sorting out Wind Waker, or just some target practice, you would also get Arrow games, stuff like that, so maybe just something like that. So you wouldn't be able to get a full-blown game, you know what I mean, like it would just be mini games, that's all I could see them doing really. Or even, you know, we'll probably get into something like a Tingle spin-off, won't we? We'll get a Tingle spin-off, match-free rupees and something like that. Yeah, I can see it happening now that I've said that. I can see it happening. I'm sorry, I apologise. Right, now our last game isn't really a game, it's more of a game company. and that is Grezzo. Now this company is well known for working on Zelda games. These are the company who are responsible for the Ocarina of Time 3D, they're responsible for Majora's Mask 3D. They also worked on Four Swords Anniversary, which was the Four Swords from Game Boy Advance. Now they moved that over to the 3DS and made a one-player mode on for it. And they also worked on Triforce Heroes. Now I know there are other game companies who are known for working on Zelda games. We have Monolith Soft, who helped to work on Breath of the Wild, and we have Tantalus, who I think did the Twilight Princess HD. But the thing is, Grezzo have actually put a list in out back in late 2017 now, probably over a year and a half ago, nearly 2 years ago, advertising for a job. And now this job listing said it's for someone to help create a legend. Now the last time they used them words was when they were working on Majora's Mask 3D, so for them to put words like that, it was like a subtle clue that they are going to work on a Zelda game. Like saying, and this was way back in 2017 now, so whatever they're working on could be about finished, that way you like to think so. So what could they be working on? I mean, are they trying to move something they've already worked on? Could we be getting Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask moved over to Switch? Could they be working on a multiplayer game? They've worked on Triforce Heroes before, and they've done the Four Swords, and we do know that Nintendo's trying to push the multiplayer aspect of games. So could they be working on something like that? Could be something new altogether, we don't know. Could be working on the Link to the Past, which we spoke about. Or they could have even worked on Link's Awakening. They could have already done that. They might have worked on Link's Awakening and it's finished now, and that's Grezzo's game getting put out. But we don't know until we hear something, so it's another potential game on the list. Well, that's it, a possible 9 Zelda games that Nintendo could be working on. If you enjoyed this video at all, please hit that like button. If you'd like to add anything in the comments, if you think I've got anything right, got anything wrong, please leave a comment down below. And remember, it's dangerous to go alone, so hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.